Hi everyone, my name is Magnesium Calcium and this is my video about Bobby Fischer and Mikhail top. Yeah, that was it. That was a video. Thank you guys. So yeah, this is the second time that Mikhail Tal and Bobby Fischer meet, and for this game plays in Zurich. There, Mikhail Tal is gonna have the white pieces, and Bobby Fischer is gonna have the black pieces. But this game is just getting placed a few months before the candidates. Goddamn, the candidates. So we start with e4, c5, the Sicilian, and then we have the knight. Like maybe putting the pawn here at some point. You wanna break the center, right? You wanna open the center. And now with that move, you might say, well, he's not really controlling the center. I know. Sometimes you can also push this pawn here. That's what I go for most of the time when I'm playing the Sicilian. So we have this line, putting the pawn here, just breaking the center. White is doing exactly that. And now you jump with the knight here. You want to defend this because it's being attacked. Now we have this. This little pawn move is why it's called a Najdorf. A Najdorf. Najdorf? Najdorf. So this little pawn move is a prophylactic move. You know, you don't want the knight to jump here and to harass the queen when it's there, because this square here in the Sicilian is something really juicy. The queen loves to sit on that square and just eating popcorn and getting ready for action. Maybe if you castle. Hello? A what? All right, sorry about that. And now the bishop on g5. Why on g5? Because it's a good square, you know, you're developing the pieces. That's always good. You don't want to put it there because that happens. So this is why you have to be really careful where to put the pieces and not get, you know, shred. So that happened. And now this, just maybe getting ready to develop the bishop here. And now we have f4. Maybe I'm coming with the queen. Maybe I'm gonna push my pawn here, and if you castle this way, bro, you're gonna suffer. And what's amazing about the Sicilian from black is that you might not even need to castle. You can just put the king here in the middle of the board, supported by the pawns, and be totally fine. Like, there's not a lot of openings where you don't castle at all. But for black here, in these kinds of position, it might happen, and it's totally fine. So we have bishop supporting the knight. Now we have queen here. What's happening? Should I castle this way? And like, let's wait. Let's put the queen here. Just I can castle, but I'm gonna save it for later. So Bobby's like, let me just put my queen on the good square. And now reinforcing, overprotecting that knight. Now the queen slide here. And maybe getting ready to attack this side of the board. Now we have pawn h6 from Bobby, which is inaccurate according to the computer, because the computer want just push this side of the board and harass this guy, maybe have the bishop out at some point, the rook's gonna join, but it looks really natural to just wanting to kick the bishop away. It feels normal, no? Now you back, obviously, you don't want it to get taken for free. Duh. And rook here is inaccurate again, because what's amazing about this position is, for example, if you just start pushing here, which is the best move of the computer once again, if you take like this is bad news, because you're gonna play this. And now you're like, I mean, I don't care. I'm just gonna, by the way, you cannot take the rook because it's supported by the knight. So you take the pawn and be like, I'm totally fine, you know, I'm like, you cannot take that pawn because it's covered, but what about this? Where you put the queen? Here covered by this, here covered by this. So the queen is trapped. If the pawn wasn't there, and you could have maybe slide away, but yeah. So you have to be really careful with those pawns. This is something that I've seen in my games, that I never want to take a pawn, or at least I try to calculate things and be like, can I really take that pawn? I mean, there's so much pieces near this king, And my queen seems to be alone in this attack. Protect your queen, man. So after this move, we have this bishop here. And you might be like, why here? Why not here? It feels more natural to just hold all the pawns together. I would have done the same, but look at this. If you play this is a blunder. Can you spot why? This is crazy. Look at this. This, man, I take, and you're like, you just lost a pawn, bro. But what about this? Now this is attacked twice. You have one defender. And also, you're being attacked like this. And you can be like, well, I'm just going to go here and grab this in the next turn. Yeah, but this is a check. And have bad news. So now after bishop e2, we have this pawn coming to g5. And now after take, we have this beautiful knight in the middle of the board, just looking at so many squares. And if you take like this, I mean, I have bad news because I'm coming with the rook. So you don't want that. You don't want that. And then Tal plays this move. And now the rook is joining the party. And we have this. Now two pieces are looking at these pieces. So after this move, Bobby just reinforce this knight here. And now Tal play d3, bishop d3. Maybe getting ready to push the pawn here, getting ready to attack this beautiful knight. And also having this line for the bishop. Powerful. So that's why we have knight jump here. Oh, look at this. You have to do something about the queen because it's gonna get taken by this bishop. So that's why he put the queen one square up. Tal was like, I don't like that knight. It's too powerful. Let's trade it. So we have this, and Tal accomplished what he wanted. A trade of queen. So every pieces are getting traded off the board. So push the pawn here just to defend this. Now this rook is maybe getting ready to get on that open file. It's technically not an open file, okay. So bishop here, maybe getting ready to pin this rook with this pawn here. You know, that looks juicy. So we have this move. Now, oh, look at that. Now this rook is threatened. You have to do something about it. And maybe you want to protect that pawn because, you know, I'm coming. So, oh, a trade of rook. That's a good idea. That's a nice way to defend, and also just wanted to simplify everything. So just this little pawn push. And now we have this rook. And now that the rook are traded, it's an endgame which is pretty much equal. So they agreed to repeat the position. So that was the second game that Bobby and Tal played together. Amazing. Now they're gonna fight each other at the candidates in 1959. And that's gonna be crazy. Thanks again for watching this video. I've read your comments and you guys are amazing. So if there's anything I can improve for you to have a better viewing experience, just let me know. Write in the comments. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Have a great one.